Alright, good afternoon. We are on our way to Chat Garant. We are on our way to Chat Garant because we still need a lot of Heart of Thorns mastery. The actual experience. So we're going to come over here and we're going to try and get that. It does at some point get a little bit silly to... Not silly. It's not silly. What will be silly is if I die here just trying to get to the meta event. That'll be silly. It feels a little bit repetitive to continue starting repeatedly doing Garant and Octavine, but we need that experience, and this is by far the most efficient way to do. So we have a number of tags in this map. Generally, I feel pretty good about that. In this case, I don't feel quite as good because I just don't see people. So somewhere, so we got tag above us, and then we got like 4 or 5 people here. It'll probably be fine. I think a lot more people will come rolling in as they complete other events. Yeah, with 4 tags, I think probably this is the map doing meta. Let's check. Okay, so there's 2 different maps, 228 and 40, which might be part of our problem. We're on 228, so really it would benefit. Man, we'd be in a lot better shape if these 2 maps would merge. But I actually find that unlikely, just because you know, there's full list, like there's multiple listings for both, so it's not like one lane is listed for one, you know, and 4 lanes for the other. Because there's several lanes listed on both maps, I don't see either map coming to the realization that they need to go to the other side. So we're gonna stick it out and trust that this map can fill adequately. And if we're wrong, then we don't get the experience that we were after, and we'll head over to Octavine and hopefully have better luck over there. Man, there's a lot of people on this. So, yeah, there's a lot of people on this lane all of a sudden because the other lanes came here just to try and ensure a success, which at 2% was obviously like completely unnecessary. But in fact, I'm probably not going to get it targeted before it goes down. There we go. All right, nice. Oh, there it goes. Alright, now I get... Oh, yeah, we're so close to being done that they'll be fine without me. And North is burning, so it turned out okay. I wasn't sure that North would drop the stacks. And I wasn't 100% sure that we were, but we ended up with a commander. Where did this guy come from? Well, good, I guess. Kind of... We needed him to advertise before the event started, but okay. I mean, cool. We need a lot for advanced gliding, but we are legit working on it now. We are on that one. Just like we're on Autoloop. Ah, someone got me with the aviator box. And now we have the horrible noises. That's really frustrating and annoying. There is a way to get rid of it. I don't know that I remember what it is. I think if you trump it with another novelty, it'll go away. Man, that's awful. But I don't have another novelty. So kudos to that person. You know, shame on me for not paying attention. It's interesting. Oh, and now we get the post-processing effect as well. People hated this when it was rolled out on April Fools a number of years back. People were so annoyed with it, and I wasn't particularly pleased. I thought it was super annoying. It is super annoying. It's incredibly stupid and childish. You know, in the army, we make the observation, or definitely folks who've been instructors make the observation that when you get a large group of people and this particular, the reason I said instructors is because of it tends to be really true of students in a training environment. You get a large group of people together and put them all kind of under the same circumstance, make them all peers. So even if they're not the same rank, they're all peers when they're all students, right? Because there's only two ranks, generally speaking, in a training environment: instructor and student. So you get everyone together, all these people together, and you make them all peers. They will immediately sync to the lowest common denominator, which means you will see behavior out of certain people whose rank normally should have precluded such behavior. I think the same thing is true of MMORPGs. So the people with like just, you know, horrible names that are like, you know, say incredibly horrible things about them, the people who say toxic things or, you know, offensive things in map chat, the people who troll, you know, all these things, all these different behaviors are all, some of those people are professionals. Some of those people are lawyers or doctors or whatever they are. Like these are people that if you were to pass on the street or meet in their professional capacity, you would not expect them to engage in that behavior. This is their opportunity to engage in that behavior when they're playing Guild Wars 2. So at a higher tier, I'd need to be really worried about that that mark above my head, and make sure that I didn't cross up folks with the positive symbol above their head, and like that we get too close, or it does damage. At this level of Fractal, though, less concerned about it. So in general, I don't feel like the Ended Dragon meta events have fared very well in terms of player engagement, player appreciation. Like, I don't think they have been as well received. Heart of Thorns remains the standard for, you know, for meta events. However, I am slowly warming up to them. And I think this one is probably relatively well done. Maybe more so than I initially realized. You know, at launch of End of Dragons, or even, you know, maybe two or 3 months ago, I might not have appreciated that this particular meta is not that bad, and is actually, do I want to say good? I'll say it might be good, because it might be. And I don't know that ArenaNet realizes that. There is a good chunk of players who just resent you know, Dragon's End. They resent the Suwon meta so much simply because of what it has been thus far. It would, you know, it would take the chat Garant treatment to fix that. And I don't know that ArenaNet has come around to that fact yet. I don't know that they realize that. I think they're looking at the completion rate of the event and seeing that differently than probably, or you know, maybe they're seeing it in a kind of a slanted fashion. Because I think the completion rate is probably higher than it's ever been, but I don't know that that means that meta event is healthy, because I don't believe it is. I think probably the people who are going to participate in that meta event currently participate in that meta event. And the people who feel like they're locked out of it are not going to participate, are certainly not participating now, and probably won't at any point in the near future. Huh. This isn't going as well as you would expect for a tier 1, to be honest. Which I'm on my ass, so I can't act like they should just waypoint, but maybe they won't. I mean, I'm part of the problem, I guess, but no, that was surprising that they didn't go down like super fast. Okay, I find that very funny. Uh, I assume they were trying to be funny. What if they weren't trying to be funny? Ooh, what if that was like an ominous threat? Then it would be even funnier in a way. Because, like, this is a video game, man. And I'm sure they knew that and they were trying to be funny. Oh, we just did this one. Right? Or is this a different one? Is this, No, this is it. I guess they were doing, they included recommended in with the dailies. That's fine. We'll do it again. I don't know that we're going to get really much of anything for loot. But we should get a little bit of experience. The Raving Asura's dialogue is actually... I spoke in an earlier stream about the... when Fractals start to kind of have their own story arc. And his dialogue, the Raving Asura's dialogue, is actually really important towards that. So, the unnecessary fractal that we didn't need to do, we got done. Did we actually get a chest? I didn't think we were going to get a chest. And I remember last time, so last time I was in this fractal, it was a tier 2, and we only had like 4 people in the party, and they didn't know what they were doing. They were trying to get an achievement of some kind. Absolute disaster. Really was. Just a mess. And it didn't need to be. Did not need to be by any stretch of the imagination. And somehow they managed to make it a disaster. I assume we're going to wait a minute on inventory. Nice. Alright, good times. Should we get this mastery point while we're here? Leave me alone, Bram. I'm getting mastery points.
Do you know this one?
That sounds like fire.
That was a simple question, but well done nonetheless. Can you answer this? You must have realized how wrong you were immediately after answering, yes?
I mean, I guess darkness would also
Was
be
that luck or
correct.
true knowledge? What is your response to this? You are correct. It seems appearances deceive. What is your response to this? Mortal, you've proven to be quite
Alright, cool.
clever.
Got our mastery point, which we do not need at all, I don't think. I don't know. 7, 9, that leaves us with 4. Once we have... So, I mean, it'll be useful once we have Skyscale. It's not super useful right now, but it's fine. Alright.
If we don't get Oreen out of there soon, Udamishi and the others are gonna start a war. Again.
Oh my gosh.
Udamishi's at the summit?
Drama.
Yeah,
Drama,
it's been
drama,
a
drama.
weird day. You'll see when you get there. Don't want to cause a panic in the city, so we'll use the back way in. Old Corsair route, right under Joko's nose. We can head in there whenever you're ready.
Hatterer found us! It's here!
I'm almost there. Hold on.
Does the commander actually know whether or not she's almost there? Oh, apparently she is. But how did she know that?
You see the giant hole in reality too, right?
So that is cool. I had a little bit mixed feelings, like initially, on how I felt about like the whole bringing like that Kralkatorrik can enter the mists and like bringing the mists into play at this point in the story.
into the rift.
and to some degree still a little bit iffy on whether or not that was the right time to bring it into play. I do advocate using the mists as an option to really expand the story.
I don't even know what they are.
You saw that too.
But again, the great thing about the mists is it can be whatever you want it to be. So the fact that they introduced it here, the fact that it already exists in Fractals, already exists in World vs. World, doesn't really limit anything else that they may choose to do with it in the future for the story. So, and it did make this an interesting chapter. This was my nose, in spite of the fact that this initial instance I'm not so keen on, and I'm really gonna pick on the instance where we meet, we see Air again and meet Snaff. Like I got some beef with some of the other instances in this one. Overall, I thought this was a decent chapter. I did not hate this chapter.
No other choice.
The Sun's Refuge thing is both really cool and kind of a distinct failure. Really cool in what they try to do and the way it kind of set the table for them to do a better job at the same thing with Arborstone. Interestingly, neither Sun's Refuge or Arborstone measures up to like the command headquarters in Suikoden 2, which was only like 20 years ago now. So,
What in the God's names is going on?
you know, like
Tiny,
it's okay. You can measure up to a PS1 game if you really put your minds to it.
So much for peace.
But overall, it is a pretty strong chapter. I do like to poke fun at the map currency for this map, of which we need to gather 250. Aesthetically, it's a super cool map. So we need
Mark the areas with sky-high energy reading.
250 of the map currency. Let's try and find some real quick, because I do get a huge kick out of it. It is Mistonium. And so I actually, when this, I had the opportunity when this chapter came out to chat with one of the devs in game. I think it had to do with like a World vs. World thing, because the World vs. World dev at that point in time was pretty engaged and would talk to people and stuff. And I made a joke about Mistonium, like, and apparently, like, this genuinely was like the result of like conversation between people and like them saying, hey, what is our, apparently they had several different options on the table for what was the best map currency, what they wanted to call it, and Mistonium is what they ended up with, which blows my mind, because I would have thought that that was something that like a 6th grader came up with, like, hey, you know, imagine a world where there's this, you know, this mist mineral, you know, or like, it was crazy to me that that was apparently the result of like people sitting around and kind of brainstorming and wargaming this and saying, what can we come up with? And that was what they came up with. Having said that, yeah, it's by no stretch of imagination like a game-breaking thing. I got a kick out of that. You know, it's like when your kid does something and I do not want to pick up that coin. I don't want to mess with the like achievements like that. Your kid does something and you think that they did like a joking job of it. You're like, oh yeah, that's kind of funny that you did it this way, and it was actually their best effort, and you're like, oh man, like I way misunderstood what was being communicated to me, and now I feel really bad because I hurt somebody. Yeah, I genuinely didn't mean to. I thought they were honestly like portraying something as a joke, and they weren't. Or, you know, maybe if you know, had like a subordinate at work or something, and you experienced that. That's how I felt when I was poking fun at Mistonium, and it turned out that, like, legit, this was like their good idea for the map currency on this one. I thought that was pretty wild. Alright, well, we've had a good day. I've been playing for a minute today, but it was a holiday. I had time off, might as well. We got a bit done, though, so let's look at our masteries first. In Heart of Thorns, gliding, we finished stealth gliding. So we are now working on advanced gliding, which will be our last Heart of Thorns mastery, period, for the 0 to 0. Happy with that. We are chipping away at the Jackal stuff here, but like Season 4 is going to take care of this stuff for us. I'm not remotely worried about that. We did get a lot of this. Almost all this was today from doing the Aether Blade Assault meta. We need to do that once, twice more. Do some other stuff in End of Dragons, and we'll finish up Jade Tech. We'll be done with End of Dragons. So taking steps. We did do some Fractals today, which probably chipped away at this a little bit, but this is going to be a real long. Yeah, it's going to be a slow burn, so not too worked up there. Other notable things that we achieved today, though. We got that last Ascendant. So we are now all ascended across there in addition to our axe. That's something to be happy about. We generated a little bit of gold today. It looks like about 3 total gold that we managed to work up. I would have maybe liked to have seen a little bit more, but you know, I mean, that's kind of the way it goes sometimes. So not too worked up, you know, not too unhappy with that. And we've entered the 4th chapter. So Jahai, what is it? Jahai Bluffs. We're in Jahai Bluffs now. So moving forward in Season 4, and you know, getting closer to where we can start working on Skyscale, like Captain Crapshoot here. We're not going to have one quite that pretty, but we will. We're getting closer to having one. So pretty happy with the progression of things. We did play for a few hours today, so we're probably at, let's see where we're at. We're at almost 65 hours now. But considering what we got done, I don't feel like 65 hours. And this was never meant to be like a speed run. It was just meant to show that, you know, relatively low skill ceiling and a little bit of effort, and you can still get the things that you want. I think we're showing that, and we're showing it in a pretty reasonable fashion. So maybe a few days before I'm able to get anything more done on this one, but you know, when that time comes around, look forward to seeing you again, and have a good one.